dumating sa point na I cannot cater to everyone. So what I did to hack around it was, kasi they have this tendency of, they'll look at your calendar, titignan kung ano ang free doon, tapos magsa-slot in sila ng calendar invite to block off that time. Said, no, you're basically, basically what I did was, I took back my power to say, no, this is my time, you have to respect my time. If you want a portion of my time, you ask me first.
Yep. Welcome to another episode of Kaka Computer Podcast, where tech meets wit and wisdom. And for this episode, we will talk about the art of saying no in IT. So guys, how do you decide when it's appropriate to say no to a project or a request? Joseph?
Sige. Siguro marami akong matututunan sa other guests. Pero for me, yung basic pattern ko in terms of when there's something and the option of saying no has to be raised.
Yeah.
I talk about what are we not choosing if we choose this. So may trade-off. Minsan hindi yun...
Opportunity cost.
Oo, may opportunity cost. So minsan hindi yun apparent sa ibang stakeholders. So usually yun lang. Pagka na-make aware mo sila dun sa, hindi ito, yan. May, chance to negotiate. Ganun.
Ikaw, boss?
So actually yung no, for me, meron akong meron akong favorite na expression pagka nagsasabi ako ng no. Alam to ng iba yun, hindi. Gaganunin ko yung But the reason why I say no a lot because whenever I say yes, usually pag yung yes na yun is very, very meaningful. So, ibig sabihin, yes, that's where we go. So, no is not a negative thing. Actually, yun yung problem kasi ng karamihan na, especially, I guess we were accustomed kasi when we were children to always say yes to our parents, say yes to people in authority.
Elders.
May cultural aspect.
May cultural aspect siya we are being trained pa lang as early as children to just say yes all the time. And that's a problem, especially when you enter the workforce. Tapos you now have to deal with all sorts of things, and then not everything needs to be a yes. Kaya anong nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng connotation na no is bad.
Yeah.
Kaya even when you're talking to someone, lagi sasabihin sa'yo, don't say no directly kasi it hurts others now. You have to say it in a different way. But in reality, actually if you I'm a fan of Chris Voss. So the guy who wrote he's a former FBI negotiator. So one of the key principles that he uses or he teaches whenever you negotiate is always try to entice a no. Okay? You want to entice as many no's as possible because yung yes means talagang totoong yes siya. Kaya don't think of no's as negative. Okay? And it's very helpful because it allows, especially when you work in a bigger organization, wherein you have to deal with so many things, so many factors. If you always say yes, either you're going to get trampled on because parang wala kang boundaries eh. No is basically a way to set what are your boundaries. Also, there are things na, okay, that is usually against a certain principle, especially if you're dealing with an organization na merong sinusunod na principles or what. So saying no means, okay, that's not aligned to what is something that we have to do. So we have to look at other avenues. And it entices discussion rather than say yes. Kasi usually when you say yes, end of conversation. Di ba?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, nangyayari, pag nag-yes ka lagi, there's no conversation. There's no thinking.
Yeah.
Okay?
I guess we can talk about the strategies na, no? Kasi in my view, it's not really just a straight yes or no question. How I deal with this is, why should I do it now? What is the value of this activity? What is the business value of this thing that you're asking me over what I'm currently doing, over this other thing that needs to be done? Palaging merong implications that if you say yes to one thing, you have to sacrifice something for later. So which one should come first? The one that should come first should always be the one with the highest value. So ang tanong ko lagi, ano yung value niyan? Ano yung value niyan over another thing? And that's how I indirectly say no. It's not really a hard no, I won't do that. It's more like, no, not right now. Yun.
Interesting. Will share my experience naman in terms of saying no. So just recently lang, we released the AI virtual assistant coach. And many people came to me and then they want also their own AI coach. And then I said no because if I said yes, mawawalan ako ng time to develop further the product, our product. And I think it's a opportunity cost, and I'm very fortunate that I can say no because I don't need the money right now. But darating tayo doon, pero not really right now. So moving on to next question, how can someone in IT prevent overcommitting themselves and maintain a healthy work-life balance? Sir?
So the first thing that as professionals we have to protect is our time. Time, ang currency ng IT professionals is universally it's time. Whether it's a programmer, it's a project manager, it's an analyst, it's always time. Time is money after all. So therefore you have to be very, very conscious of the activities that will consume time. So and which also means that you also have to protect the time that you spend for those activities. So one good example, I actually absolutely hate meetings. That's one of the worst things.
Yes, of course.
Everybody agrees.
But I've been in a company wherein to them, it's a badge of honor if your calendar looks like an escalator. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabing escalator, yung meetings mo overlapping na.
Yeah.
Sobrang overlap. Yung tipong 3-4 meetings overlapping all by at least 30 minutes. They consider it a badge of honor. I actually hated that. I've spent a lot of my, roughly siguro 4 or 5 years of my career in that company. Dumating sa point na I cannot cater to everyone. So what I did to hack around it was, kasi they have this tendency of, they'll look at your calendar, titignan kung ano ang free doon, tapos magsaslot in sila ng calendar invite to block off that time. Said, no, you're basically, basically what I did was, I took back my power to say, no, this is my time, you have to respect my time. If you want a portion of my time, you ask me first.
Yep.
Hindi yung
Definitely.
porket may open dyan, lalagyan mo ng time. Tapos, pagka hindi ako ang masama pang ugali ng mga tao doon ay basta pag nag-send sila ng invite, ang expectation is pupunta ka whether you said yes or no. Even though that you said no to them dahil nag-send sila ng invite, you have to attend. I'm like, no. Okay.
Yes.
Kaya, dumating sa point na I will not even answer unless they actually message me directly asking, are you free? Because that way you establish kasi mutual respect.
Very respectful.
Yes.
A lot of people in corporate do not understand that concept of mutual respect for time.
Yeah.
Actually, same sa email eh. Email is like a to-do list sent to you. Ginagawa rin nila sa calendar mo yun. Send ako ng meeting sa'yo, ngayon gawin mo to. Parang ganun yung nangyayari.
Yes, please visit our website at tutorialstudio.com. We provide free courses for AWS and, of course, premium resources for certification exams for AWS, Azure, Kubernetes, and GCP.
I absolutely agree. And that's the reason why kahit personal tasks, kahit work tasks ko, sometimes nilalagay ko na sa calendar just so it's clear to everybody.
Smart.
It's clear to everybody. Ngayon sa Google Meet, for example, merong feature na focus time. instead of appointment, focus time siya. So focus time for X activity ganyan, or focus time for that activity. So that nobody can say na I free ka at that time, I'll put in a meeting there. And you could, there's about bunch of strategies. If your company tends to respect that boundary, you don't even have to hide it in private. Pero I have seen people na they've set all their calendar invites to private para nobody can tell if it's a real.
Actually, dumating ako sa point before na I used to, ginawa ko kasi nga ganun ang ginagawa sa akin eh. Yung calendar ko in a week, ginawa ko puro recurring meetings. Tapos ginawa ko parang sort of pseudo-randomized. Yung mga, tapos puro naka-overlap. Para lahat sila para makikita, oh shit, where do I cannot slot in. Just to force the issue na you have to respect the person's time. You have to ask. Hindi porket may access kayo sa calendar, ibig sabihin that's consent.
Yeah.
So,
Actually,
That's true.
yung point mo, na-remind ako dun sa manager schedule tsaka maker schedule.
Yes.
And sa sa mga managers na especially people who have management tasks and development tasks, ang hirap. So yun, you also have to manage for that. You also have to use a strategy where you do all your management only at early hours of the morning or at the later hours, pero iba-block off mo yun sa calendar mo para meron ka focus time for development.
Sa akin,
that's very important.
Naka-delegate na yung iba. Just so,
Yes.
kasi there was a time na talagang I was very heavily involved in the entire thing eh. Because it was my design, ako yung merong may intimate knowledge about the thing. So, but I was also leading a 50-man team. So, I cannot be everywhere. So, kaya kasunduan namin, guys, treat me as another one of your developers. Yun sabi ko sa mga windows ko.
Yeah.
Treat me as one of your developers. So, that means most of the management stuff, sige, sa inyo ko ipupush. Leverage on my knowledge and expertise so that ako gagawa for you para mabilis natin. Especially meron mga stuff that needed to be done extremely quickly. Tapos, ang gagawin ko kasi doon, i-hand over, gagawin ko, tapos i-hand over ko sa kanila, tuturo ko. Kayo nagagawa para alam na ninyo paano i-maintain, paano nyo gagawin to in the future.
Delegation. Meron ba kayong personal experience na very memorable to you na you say no to maintain focus and avoid burnout? Share any personal experience?
Meron actually.
Yeah.
So this is something I don't really share a lot, but this is a turning point actually in my career. So so actually for quite some time, so for a big portion of my career, while I am a developer, I am also at the same time part of management. So I've been a CTO, I've been a lot of things now already. So I'm usually dual hatting. Okay? Pero dumating sa point wherein I had to say no na to being put into a management position. Kasi nangyari sa akin, dumating sa point in 2 jobs ago. 2 jobs ago roughly na I'm burnt out. I needed to get out. I wanted to go back to being a technical guy. I left. I joined AWS. I joined AWS thinking na I will be, okay, this is a technical role. I'm an SA. Technical role. Great. Only to find out that, hey, I'm managing people. I'm still managing people. There's no SA work in my role. So after 2 years of trying to battle out, trying to make it work, so I said, no, this has to stop. So absolutely, this has to stop. This is already costing me so much.
Yeah.
Kaya I left. I said, no, this has to stop. I have to leave. Then I'll try to figure it out first. So that was a turning point for me. That's why I said no more. So when people found out that I left already, so I've gotten a lot of messages. Companies were trying to reach out. Are you available, etc., etc. But whenever I tell them I don't want to be a manager, they usually say, "Huh? You don't want to be a manager? But you have this." No more. So that was my hard, So I was very hard on that. it's so usually HR or the hiring manager would be taken aback because I would literally tell them no. It's you.
Ikaw, sir.
Sa akin siguro the best example of that is just so I transferred teams in my current company, not really in a way of saying no to my old job, but finding a yes for me, finding something that I love to do. And I came from straight product development na dev teams lang ang kausap ko all the time, product managers lang kausap ko all the time, to a role that had functions that were talking to more customers or talking to more partners, ganyan, which is unlike other developers, I found joy in that, and being able to say no to that, to what I thought my job was for the longest time, and saying yes to this new other place. If JP, you said you were looking for that place for yourself, that's how I found my place for myself. Now I said no to what I thought my role was, and took on something that was new, but yeah, I'm thriving there right now. So I'm
Nice.
really happy about it.
Nice. Sir, Joseph?
Ako personally, hindi siya no type of answer. Pero I was coming from the perspective na customer ko na internal to. So I'll respond. I'll be quick. I'll give you what you want. Customer is king.
Yeah.
Pero although yun, meron ngang better ways of saying no.
Yes.
There's elegant ways of saying it.
Yeah.
You can develop finesse.
Mm-mm.
Pero you can also this is not the time to respond.
Yeah.
So natutunan ko 'yun. Hindi memorable siya kasi I failed.
Oh,
I felt like I failed. So I wanted to learn communication skills after that.
that's nice. So before we end the episode, is there any advice or words of wisdom when saying no?
Huwag kayong matakot.
Yeah, that's number one. Kasi yung iba hindi nagsasay ng no kasi takot sila.
It's fear. It's fear. So it's something you have to overcome.
Sir?
So constant practice. So kasi fear is something na again, we've been ingrained to always say yes since childhood. So
Yeah.
going against that takes time. So
Mm-mm.
which is why you have to regularly practice. And at the same time, for you to effectively practice it, you also have to start loving yourself and putting boundaries.
Yeah.
Because when you start putting boundaries, then you start saying no more easily because hey, you're overstepping your boundaries
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So that's an effective way of building that.
Yeah.
And the confidence to say no. Please no. Yeah.
Tsaka, hindi lang siya just saying no. There are lots of ways of communicating no. So, learn communication skills. And when you have to say no, say it confidently.
Yeah. Without parang nag-aalangan ka pa.
Oo.
Okay, so that's the end of the episode and thank you.